Long ago, in the heart of a forest, there was a village called Obinabuo. From far away, it looked like a peaceful place. Green trees, singing birds, and happy people working in their farms. But something was wrong. Every 7 years, someone in the village died in a strange way. People said the grand of Obinabu was angry. They said it was a curse. Many did not believe it until it came to the family of Nkechi, a young girl with a kind heart. Nkechi lived with her mother, Norma, and two brothers, John Paul and Raphael. They had a small farm. They were not rich, but they had love. One morning, Nkechi went to fetch firewood near the big forest. The forest was dark and quiet. As she bent down to pick a stick, she heard a whisper, "Leave on. The ground will take one of yours." She looked around, no one was there. The wind blew softly. The leaves did not move. She ran home. At home, Nkechi told her mother what she heard. Norma was silent. She sat down and touched her chest. "My mother told me about the cause," she said. "It started long ago when our people buried a pregnant woman alive." Nkechi's eyes is opened. "Why?" she said. "Because they said she was a witch." But the woman cried and begged. "I'm not a witch," she said. "I only speak to trees." But the elders did not listen. Before she died, the woman shouted, "I will not rest. Every 7 years, Obinabu will cry." Raphael, the younger brother, was a strong boy. He laughed at the story. "This is no curse," he said. "It's just bad luck." One day, he followed some boys to the forbidden well. The well in the center of the old burial ground. Nobody went there. They dared each other to drop a stone into it. Raphael did. That night he fell sick. His body burned like fire. He screamed in pain. The well, her voice, she angry. He cried before he passed out. That night Nkechi had a dream. She saw a woman in white with long hair covering her face. She stood beside a big tree. "You are not like them," the woman said. "You have a clean heart, but your people still lie. The curse lives until the truth is spoken." Nkechi woke up, shaking. She went to her mother. "Mama, what is the truth?" Norma looked away. "It was our great grandfather. He was the one who led the people to kill the woman." John Paul, the elder brother, had the secret. She was one of the boys who went to the forbidden well long ago, but he never told anyone. He started seeing things, shadows at the corner of his eyes. Every time he passed the village square, he heard crying. One night, he saw a hand come out of the wall. He screamed. Nkechi and Norma came running. "She is following me," he said. "Tell the truth," Nkechi shouted. But he was afraid. And the next morning, John Paul was gone. His sandals were outside. His bed was empty. No one saw him again. The village had a meeting. People were scared. "Let us call the elders," they said. The elders gathered in the square. Old men with white hair, winked women with sticks. Nkechi stood up. "The curse will not stop until we confess what our people did. She said, we must dig the grave and gave her a proper burial. But some shouted her down. This is madness, let sleeping spirits lie. But one elder, the others among them stood. She spoke the truth. They went to the forest. The rain fell hard. Thunder clapped. They found the old tree, the place where the woman was buried. Nkechi had a lamp. She dropped to her knees and started to dig. Others helped. The earth was wet, dark. Suddenly the ground shook. A scream came out from under. Everyone ran, but Nkechi stayed. She cried out, we are sorry for what they did to you." Silence. Then the wind stopped, and in the hole, a skeleton dressed in white was found, still with long hair on its skull. They washed the bones and put them in a white wrapper. The women sang song of sorrow. The men wept. They gave her a new grave beside the river under a mango tree. The priest poured palm wine and said, "Let her spirit rest. Let Obinabuo be free." From that day, no strange deaths happened again. Raphael woke up. He said, "I saw her. She was smiling. She said, 'Thank you.'" Obinabuo is a peaceful now. The children laughed again. The trees sing. The world is covered forever. But death still remember. And every 7 years, the people gather under a mango tree. They light candles. They sing for the woman who was buried alive. They teach the children never to let fear make them kill the innocent. Many years passed. Nkechi was now a grown woman, married with 2 children. She had not spoken about the cause for a long time. Life in Obinabuo had returned to normal. People formed, danced at festival, and drank palm wine in the evening. But one night, Nkechi had a strange dream. She saw a young girl in a white sitting on the grave beside the mango tree. The girl looked at her and said, "You are free, me." But others still carry guilt in their hearts. Nkechi woke up sweating. She sits up, confused. "What does it mean?" she whispered. She could not sleep again that night. The next day, the village prepared for a annual Iriji festival, the New Yam festival. The big drum used for the festival was missing. Chief Obuefi, the new village leader, was angry. "That drum is sacred. Who stole it?" They searched everywhere in the palace, the shrine, the square, but it was gone. That evening, an old man named Uruma came forward. When the woman was buried long ago, they used that same drum to celebrate her death. Everyone went quiet. "She is still not at peace," Uruma said. Raphael, now a grown man with a scar on his left hand from the sickness years ago, decided to look for the drum in the old part of the forest. He walked deep into the trees where the air was heavy and the birds were quiet. There, beside a mud, he saw the drum. It was old, dusty, but untouched by animal or weather. But something else shocked him. He saw a name carved on a fell tree nearby, Ozamaka. He did not know the name, but something told him it was her, the woman who was buried alive. He picked up the drum and walked home with shaking hands. Nkechi meets Uruma the next day. "Who is Ozamaka?" she asked. The old man looked sad. "She had a daughter. Nobody talks about her. They said she ran mad after her mother died." Where is she now? Nkechi asked. They sent her away. She was only 7. They said she was also a witch. Tears filled Nkechi's eyes. She was just a child. Nkechi and Raphael decided to go to Umoji, the village where Ozamaka's daughter was sent years ago. After a 2-day journey by foot, they arrived. They asked the elders. There was a mad woman who lived here. One of them said she never spoke. She just sits by the riverside and sink to the wound. Where is she now? Nkechi asked. She died 2 years ago, they said, but she had a son. He is still here. His name is Obina. They find Obina fishing by the river. He was tall, with sharp eyes and strong arms. When he see Nkechi, he said, "You came from Obinabuo. I dream of that village every night." That brought Obina back to Obinabuo. At the mango tree, as he stood near his grandma's grave, he kneeled down and cried, "I don't know her, but my soul feels like it does." That night, the wind howled. The people felt something shift. Then the next morning, the land creaked. Yes, a small creek appeared in the middle of the village square. The elders, "We did what we could," they shouted. But Nkechi said, "No, one thing still remained. The last bloodline must be honored." The next day, Obinna was taken to the shrine. The chief priest poured palm oil on his head and tied a white cloth on his waist. They called the ancestors. They offered yams, palm wine, and cola. There he was laid to the mango tree. There he dropped the scared drum and said, "Grandmother, I carry your blood. Rest now." Suddenly the wind stopped. A butterfly landed on his shoulder. Then silence. The course was finally over. Since that day, no strange dreams came, no whispered in the forest, no sudden deaths. Obina became known as a village of healing. People came from far away to visit the mango tree where the curse was broken. Nkechi built a small hut near the tree. She called it the House of Truth. There, she told the story to children and strangers so no one would forget. And Raphael, now a father, told his son, "Fear is dangerous, but silence is worst." Most passed, the land of Obina became more fertile than ever before. Yams grow twice as large. The river, which once dried in Harmattan, now flowed freely, even in the dry season. Nkechi planted a small garden near the mango tree where she grew herbs and hidden truths. People came to her, not just for medicine, but for wisdom. They called her Nkechi the Truth Keeper. But even as peace covered the village like morning must, the story of buried woman still in the heart of people. One day, a small girl named Chizoba, about 7 years ago, stood under a mango tree and asked Auntie Nkechi, "Will the spirits ever return?" Nkechi smiled and bent low. "Not if we keep telling the truth, my dear. Spirits don't hate people, they hate lies." It happened on a market day. A strange man arrived at the village, wearing cloth and walked with a lamp. His hair was long and his eyes were tired. He walked slowly into the square, where women were selling yams and men were cricket cola. Suddenly Raphael shouted, "That's John Paul." Everyone turned. It was true. The brother they thought was gone forever had returned. He dropped to his knees, crying. "She took me into the forest," he said. "She fed me with leaves. She showed me everything, how they lied, how they buried her, and how I was part of the silence." That night the village gathered. John Paul sat beside the fire and spoke, voice shaking. The day I disappeared, I heard her voice. I ran to the forest. I could not stop myself. My foot moved like they were not mine. She did not hurt me. She made me remember. She made me see how pure the world is when we hide truth. He bowed his head. I'm sorry. I should have spoken earlier. Nkechi came close and hugged him. You were a child, now you are home, and you spoke. That is what matters. One evening, the new village chief Obuefi called a private meeting with the elders. We must destroy the mango tree, he said. Why would you say such a thing? Asked Elder Okoro. People worship it, Obuefi said. That is dangerous. We should only pray at the shrine of our fathers, not some tree with a cursed history. But many elders disagree. That tree is where our shame was washed away. It is not evil, it is memory. Still, Obuefi made plans. And one dark night, men with machetes called toward the trees. As the men lifted their cutlass to strike the mango tree under thunder roared, lighting light up the sky, and the others fell to the ground. A voice filled the air. You cut truth, it was grow again. The wind carried the voice away, but the near remaining. 2 years later, the village created a new celebration, Uche Ndu, the Day of Truth. It was held every under the mango tree. On that day, children told stories, elders shared village history without shame. People confessed, forgive, blessed each other. Obinab changed. It became a place where other village came to settle quarrel, to heal broken families, and to learn the power of truth. Obinna, now grown man, become a leader. He never built a place. He lived in a small house close to the river, just like his mother did long ago. Nkechi grew old. One day, she sat under a mango tree, surrounded by young children. Auntie, will you tell us the story again? They asked. She smiled, her hair now white, her voice soft. Once upon a time, a woman was buried because people feared her gifts. But her gift was not evil, it was truth. And even after death, her voice did not sleep because truth may fail, but it never dies. The children clapped. The wind blew gently through the leaves, the tree still strong, and above the sky was clear. One morning, Obinna sat by the river bank, carving a straw from wood. His small daughter Adoma played nearby with smooth stone. Suddenly she stopped and looked forward the bush. Papa, who is that man? Obinna turned sharply. No one was there. What woman? Adoma. She pointed again. She had white eyes and she said, why did you forget my daughter? Obinna stood quickly, heart pending. What did she look like? Her hair was long, her skin was dark, but she did not smile. She looked sad because Obinna carried Adoma and ran home. That night, he could not sleep. Obinna visited Nkechi now every 5 days. Now very old but still wise. He told her what Adoma had seen and heard. Nkechi sat quietly, thinking, her sister, she said softly. I never heard that Ozamaka had a sister, Obinna said. Nkechi nodded. Because the village elders, they feared her more than Ozamaka. They said she vanished into the forest because they buried her. Some said she became a spirit. Others said she became the forest itself. Obinna mouth went dry. Then maybe we did not bury all the truth. The next day, Obinna entered the deep part of the forest where food dared to go. He carried kola, salt, and white cloths. Birds stopped singing. The air was heavy. He reached an old tree with roots like handing gripped the earth. There, he placed the gifts and spoke. If there is another truth, show it to me.